I'm Monica Daniels.
I'm Bill Swinford.
And I'm Tom Mann.
Thank you for joining us. So how are you doing today, Bill?
I'm fine. Things are good at the Swinford Media Group.
Yeah.
We have our papers out for the week.
Yeah.
We're recording this later in the day than we've ever recorded one.
I think in history so far. Yeah.
This is it. We are.
Bill's totally stress-free. He's had a great week this week.
It's
Stress-free.
Friday.
Totally.
Thank God it's Friday.
Right.
It's late afternoon. Most people are headed home from work. We're still at it, but that's okay because this is some of the most fun we have all week long.
Right. So we have had some fun earlier this week,
Yeah.
didn't we? We all three attended the Heron Chamber Grant Writing Workshop.
Yeah.
Presented by...
And even though that may not sound that exciting,
It really was. It was really good.
It
Really was. So let me tell you a little bit about the speakers. I have it saved here. So the speakers for this, Tammy Gwaltney, amazing woman, Heron native. She's the executive director of the Heron Education Foundation. She teaches at SIU, and she leads the Williamson County Habitat for Humanity chapter. She was one of our speakers, and also she paired up with Byram Fager, who is the CEO and executive director of the Southern Illinois Community Foundation. He does a lot of work in helping to get grants for local businesses and nonprofit organizations. He's just has a really great foundation over there. So, and like Bill said, grant writing does not sound like fun, but these two were really paired up really, I mean, individually they're great, but together they're even better. I walked away feeling so empowered. Usually I walk away from a grant writing exercise feeling a little overwhelmed and
I walked away, though.
defeated,
It's
but-
funny. I thought about it like what I want to do, what would I not want to do, and where I want to get help. That was really good because those individuals who do that, especially Byram. He helps with that, and over at that foundation, they do a lot of work. But the other thing was, I think I was making faces when she said, "You're making faces" or something, and I said because they were talking about you had to be sure you had the font size right and everything, and follow the instructions on these grant writing. I thought, okay, that my ADD and all that just kicked in. I'm like, I got to follow, and draw inside the lines. Yeah, but it was really good.
Well, and that was excellent advice because anybody that has written a grant or turned in an English paper in high school,
That was my problem.
you know, they know how picky that the instructions can be, and it may not make any sense, but they explained that one of the reasons they do that is because if you can follow instructions on the grant application, on the grant proposal, then you'll probably be able to follow the plan after
And
you'll
stick
the
to
funds,
it.
and you'll stick to it.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense. But it was good. It was great. Also, we got to sit next to the executive director of the Heron Chamber.
She's great.
She was great, and so that kind of completed the whole
Have you
thing.
met her?
she's okay.
No, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
kind of like we were doing a little podcast without microphones, and just talking to each other, just for each other there, but
It was good. It was really good.
So we had about 20 people there. It was just enough to be intimate where we could get some good conversation and questions going. And
It's sad. That sounds like something wouldn't be exciting or really, the topic itself. So what do you want, but it's really good. Explain how, small businesses could get even loans and there's a lot that was opened up to that I never thought about.
That's another thing about it is that I think some people are under the impression when they hear grant writing that you're just talking about foundations, you're just talking about not-for-profits, said it closer the first time, not-for-profit organizations.
Or non-profitable businesses.
Right, 501c3s or something like that.
Yeah.
But there are grants available to small businesses. I found in our business, in the small town media business, local news organizations, that there are funders out there trying to help keep us going. And we found that both in the fact that so many of our followers and customers have come along and just made donations to our business, even though we're not a nonprofit, although we sometimes are, but not intensely a nonprofit. And other times we have seen that there are whole foundations and funds coming along now to try to help those of us that are trying to keep keep local news organizations operational. And we've actually started applying for help through some of those in the past. And but there is kind of a niche for a lot of different industry, business fields, people that are trying to do good work, and then even those that are creating new things they're doing for the benefit of others, and so the instructions they give from the benefit of their experience. Tammy's been doing this for years and years and years.
She's
and
really
Byram,
good.
obviously, the Southern Illinois Community Foundation is doing this constantly, and
Really
they're available to help you through every step of it. And we'll tell you how to reach out to Byram. I think we'll be able to do that. But just a few of the things.
He's an easy to find Southern Illinois Community Foundation.
Right.
Is it .org? I think it is.
Byram
Fager, Fager,
Fager, Byram Fager. Yeah.
Right. And it's just a few of the things that they pointed out. You know, if you're going to get into this world looking for funding, you basically need to start at the federal level by just going on the federal website. That will help you to find and get what's called a UEI number and get registered for that. And then to get into the state level, you have to have the federal and that UEI number. And then you can access through the state website, the federal website. You can access the opportunities that are out there that you can apply for. There are also others that are just constantly watching and making available to those who are interested the new opportunities that are coming along. One email I want to throw out there because I think it's going to be very helpful to us is Daryl Hamston at Illinois.gov. He does a newsletter giving the latest grants in Illinois, and Daryl is DARRELL.Hamston, HAMPSTEN, at Illinois.gov. You can send him an email and ask just to be on his email newsletter, and he'll keep you up with the latest opportunities. One other mention that I want to give that Byram was emphasizing is Champion Community Investments, which is more of a loan organization, but it's not a bank. And this is a organization that's trying to help those get financing. Sometimes those that can't get traditional financing for their small business can do so, and they really have a focus on Southern Illinois. That's another thing you can look for, Champion Community Investments. But Byram can help you get in touch with all of that.
And the other thing I thought was interesting is that for those of us who are in business and do business, there are private entities that are wanting to help fund people in certain initiatives I'm being involved with. And it was kind of nice because people, we take for granted our food pantries and all these other things in the area. But again, a lot of this is funded through grants and things like that. So there's a really big benefit to this. Mm-hmm. And there's money out there to help people do things and invest in things and get things going. And I found it to be fascinating. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
So.
And
tell the executive director of the Heron Chamber that this was really good.
That was
let her
a
know.
helpful program.
I'll pass that on to her.
Yeah, I'll pass her along to her.
She has good taste.
Yeah, she does.
Yes, she does.
Good taste in
Well,
speakers
yeah,
and
okay.
friends and boyfriends. And
Well, okay.
Okay. SICF.org, Southern Illinois Community Foundation, SICF.org, just their mission statement kind of says a little bit of it all, and it's kind of covering both sides of it. It's to engage the people of Southern Illinois in building a tradition of philanthropy, and the Southern Illinois Community Foundation is committed to creating an opportunity for donors to participate in local community development efforts to address the changing needs of our community through charitable giving, grant management, and nonprofit support. And then it works the other direction, helping those who are seeking that kind of help, and doing that. And so they are growing. I remember that when we did in downtown Marion, we did during COVID the Marion United telethon out of the Civic Center, that Byram was there on behalf of SICF helping facilitate that, because we were asking people to give and we needed a nonprofit organization like SICF to run the funds through in order for their gifts to be charitable giving. But people were giving in order to help businesses that were not able to function during COVID, and it amounted to $100,000 that we were able to give away. And I'd say we were there helping provide the production and live stream it out. And there were a lot of others there providing talent to make the show enjoyable. But big credit to the owners of Crown Brew, who kind of headed that up, and then working with Mayor Absher in the city and others to pull that off.
It's very powerful. So it was a really good time. It was like I said, sounds not as interesting as you think it was, but it is pretty fascinating, especially if you're needing that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you, I just took out of my mouth something I wanted to tell you about. This is a new thing to share. I haven't even told you, Tom. I found a new thing. It's called NeuroGum.
NeuroGum.
NeuroGum, and
That's what he has
It
wadded
tastes
up that piece of
disgusting.
paper. Does it really?
I got tipped off to NeuroGum by Joe Rogan. Now, Joe didn't call me. I saw it on his podcast.
NeuroGum.
But and I don't watch Joe Rogan a lot, but I found this to be very, very helpful. It includes caffeine, but no sugar, and it had another.
It has vitamin Bs,
Yes.
and it has an I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't either.
It
Another.
starts with an L, and then it's another long word that
It's a-
starts with a TH.
Yeah.
It's sort of like caffeine.
Thiamine or
Okay.
something.
Yeah, it's a type of caffeine, except it bypasses the nervous system, right? It has the effects of caffeine in your body, but it's healthier for you. It's not as damaging or destructive as caffeine can be. So,
Okay.
and I learned about it through my son because he takes this supplement.
So is Bill buzzed by that? Is
Well,
that what it is?
it's almost 6:00, and at 6:00 I'm normally not
It's going to
this
sleep.
wide-eyed.
He looks pretty awake.
I'm ready to go, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this continues to work this way, and who knows what this is going to do to me in the long run. But
NeuroGum, okay.
But it seems to have really good reviews, and it seems to have. There's how you'll read a review on a product that you're ingesting. You want to know if this thing's healthy or not, or if this medication's really helping you, or what the side effects are and things. And this is one of those things that as they've tried to research it and show what good it's doing for you, it has a lot of these. It may do this, it may do that category, but the mays are not negative. There's
Okay.
very few negatives at all, but it may, it said, even have cancer fighting abilities, and it may make me may make me a Superman. I don't know. It may, or now it's definitely doing what it told me it was going to do, and
That's
that give me
good.
that late afternoon boost. Because if you go and drink coffee, and I think Monica can testify to this based on what she told me earlier today, if you go and drink coffee too late in the day, you might be up all night. Didn't that happen to you?
That happened to me. But I think the reason it happened was because I was also hit by the norovirus. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, I don't know.
That's going around.
We think that's maybe what it was.
Yeah, I ended up getting sick.
Listen, I'm not a doctor,
Could have.
and I don't play one on the podcast.
I got a stomach
Ooh.
virus on Wednesday, and I was sick all day long.
Why don't we talk about that? You want to?
Yeah, give us all those details. Give them the same details you gave me about it.
Very much like this norovirus that is going around, where a lot of people are getting sick. It lasts from anywhere from 1 to 3 days.
Oh,
Thank
goodness.
God mine only lasted for 1 day. But I think by the time I was ready to drink coffee again, my body was a little bit overly sensitive to caffeine, whereas 1 cup of coffee
Mm-hmm.
typically doesn't do me.
Because it was depleted of everything else. Is that why that happened?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
I think it was just a little bit more sensitive than I
And
thought.
so you were up all night last night.
So yeah, I was up all night last night.
Well, why don't you choose some NeuroGum?
Does
Yeah.
it taste disgusting?
I hope this doesn't turn into.
I'm gonna
I was
guess-
looking at these videos that are on the YouTube right now, and they're from like the 1950s and 60s.
Yeah.
And they're these housewives talking about how wonderful their asbestos tile floors
yeah,
are.
yeah.
And that this is
Yeah.
the greatest thing that's ever been created. These and you're sitting and looking at that, and they're talking about how wonderful it is, and
Yeah.
and then you come out a little bit later.
Or go back a little further in
Yeah.
history, and everybody talking about the benefits of cocaine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was just thinking the cocaine in Coca-Cola.
yeah,
Holy
and all the
cow.
things way back in the day.
Right.
So you never know. So we'll see.
don't.
Bill will be the test.
I don't
That's
know,
the
but
guinea pig here
I
on the
feel like I
NeuroGum.
got to get some more of it. I left it in the car. I'm not sure if I can make it.
Oh
But
no, this is scary.
Yeah, but Monica doesn't like the taste of it. I think it tastes like just about any other spearmint kind of tasting,
It's really strong,
but it's too strong for her.
crazy strong.
So we'll keep updating you on this if you care, because we'll probably get different flavors and see if those
I'll order
those
different
work for you.
flavor, yeah.
Neuro gum, it's not cheap. I think I've spent $30 on a pack of 90, which is. And it's like, I put it down as about a 2-week supply. I've actually 2 weeks, I got more coming. I will see if I can get through 90 in 2 weeks. At this pace, I will.
Yeah.
I definitely will. So far, it's doing exactly what it told me it would. So shout out to the Neuro Gum people. They are
That's really good.
They're not sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah.
We do want to give a shout out, though, to a few of our more reliable sponsors at the Swinford Media Group, including Watermark Auto Group. It's been a while since we talked about Watermark, but Watermark is an organization that from the very beginning of the Marion Star, which was kind of the origin of the Swinford Media Group, we have been able to count on their support of just about everything that we do. I mean, not just about everything that we do. And so we want to give them a mention. I also want to give a mention to Kerry Martin and his Coaches at Crown Brew Getting Coffee podcast. Because he told me he was going to start giving us a mention. We're just going to start reminding you of the other good products,
Podcast,
content being put out by the Swinford Media Group. Check that out. Coaches at Crown Brew Getting Coffee is a podcast that he does from Crown Brew, talking to coaches, and it sounds like something that, unless you were interested in sports, you wouldn't find that much interest in. And admittedly, I am interested in sports, but I don't know every coach that he talks to. I don't know every sports program, and mostly their local sports program that those coaches represent. I don't follow all of them, but I've yet to sit down and watch one where I didn't learn just something about coaching in general, and not just coaching sports, but coaching people, helping bring the best out in especially in these cases, young people who are trying to reach goals, build good habits, and reach goals. And Kerry does such a great job of breaking that down and bringing that out, and we learn from so many of them. One of them was my high school classmate, Kerry Blaylock, who was SIU's softball coach up until just a couple of years ago when she retired. But Kerry is the all-time winningest coach at SIU in any sport. And she and I graduated high school together, and she was our star pitcher on our softball team in high school. But she has so much in her podcast to talk about as far as working with these young women, and she has earned their devotion, not just because she led them to a ton of wins, but also because she invested so fully in their lives. And that's what Kerry Martin did on the football field, in the classroom at Marion and Carterville before that. So many other coaches that he's had an opportunity to talk to, and we are grateful to be associated with that.
Sounds really good. Maybe we get one of them on sometime to talk.
Yeah,
That would be
good idea.
really fun having Kerry Martin on here.
yeah, we definitely should. Matter of fact, that's come into my mind and escaped it too many times. We need to have Kerry join us on that. We also Tom shared with me a YouTube video that we'll try to remember to put a link to that in the comments of this one so you can see, because we talked last time about the pool playing days in Johnson City, and he found a YouTube video of one of the ABC broadcasts from the 60s.
Yeah, I think so. He was on a Facebook link or something, and I saw it. I was like, that's kind of what we were talking about. And this is one of those so far back in the 60s, it was in black and white. And they're showing, standing outside down the road from where I am now.
Yeah.
They're showing, hey, Johnson City, and I don't think anything was out there but that one thing.
Yeah. You heard us talk about that on our last podcast. You didn't see us talk about
the audio podcast. There's a story behind that. So,
What's the story behind that, Tom?
Well, yeah, what is the story, Tom?
well, when things can go wrong, they went really wrong. That time the audio was working great. And
We've had the reverse happen before.
yeah, that's true. We didn't have any audio, but we had the video.
Right.
can
Well,
combine
maybe
the
we should have
two.
pulled that video up.
Probably
and
should have. Just
combined
like, it's like some kind of foreign film, and
our
wouldn't know.
lips won't match the words,
Yeah.
but hey.
They look good. That's all that mattered.
So Ross, my son, who does the final steps in the production on that, decided to go ahead and put it on YouTube with just a slide. So, and there are some people that sat through it that way, and others that always listen to us as opposed to watching us. That's not the new normal. That was just a one-time thing. And
Tom learned some lessons during that one. When all fails, he can at once.
yeah.
And which gets into another subject
Yes.
that it's been on my mind this week. In fact, that kind of really hit on my mind. But if you have equipment that fails, especially, what do you do?
yeah.
And so I'm having to make decisions of, okay, because we're all navigating, we don't know what's going to go on. And
Right.
so I decided I was going to have to bite the bullet and just get some different equipment, more equipment, not different, but more. Because
Oh, there's a lot of equipment in here already.
yeah, and there's more that's coming, but I was worried about majority of everything that's made comes from China.
Oh, yes.
So in every electronic you have, and makes you wonder with everything going on right now, what will happen?
Right.
And and I think we're so dependent upon everything being outsourced, and we learned that during COVID. When went through my head because my wife has some really important medication. Well,
Yeah.
if it wanted to be shut off, if it comes from one source, you got a problem. And
Yeah.
so I would love to see things made here in the United States if I can. That's
Well,
my opinion.
that's right. I mean, I ultimately I think that's the goal we'd all love to see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure at this point if we're ever getting there.
Quick enough.
But
We don't like to
obviously-
wait very long for anything.
Obviously, that's part of the effort
Yeah.
under the current legislation and the this is another thing I'll talk to you about later. This is now I'm distracted, but the tariffs that are being put in place do make you wonder where it's going to go from there and how much more expensive it is going to be to get some of these things that we've all grown to love, including this thing right
Yeah,
here that was
everything.
going off in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah.
Why do we love it? Who knows? But we've certainly grown dependent on it, and in our business, we're very dependent on it. And so you made the move. What did you order? Go
Well,
ahead
the
and
biggest
plug
thing
that.
is like for instance, I have some video projects coming up toward the middle, the end of the year, and nobody signed the dotted lines yet on them. So it's one of these things. I have to get certain cameras. So there's some certain kind of more cinema type cameras I have to get. Will they be available is the big question. And so that's what I've been asking. And so wound up getting some newer cameras, and that's what I had to get. And then even looking at computers and that kind of thing. So we were doing that, and I had to do that. So just different decisions.
We have a guest
Yeah, we do have a guest
in our studio today.
Let me.
Who have we got here, Tom?
I'll show you. Let me get it. Come here, Bear. Come here, buddy.
Nobody told him we were going to put him on camera. Now he's being a little shy about it. But
Yeah, that's a new side to him.
This is the studio dog. This is Bear. He's usually really quiet, but what it is, it's dinner time,
Oh,
and so he's going. It's time to eat.
yeah. It's not time for podcasting.
No.
It's time for eating.
Time
right?
for eating. And
That's the way
what's going through his head.
that's what my belly's telling me right now too.
So we have everything on him. He has his we call this his work collar.
Oh,
Yeah, if he barks, it vibrates.
oh.
Does it shock?
Automatically, it's not like you have to do anything.
I have to trigger it if
Oh,
he.
okay.
But he's pretty good with that. So
Yeah.
it's time to podcast. So that's what he is.
Well, good. Yeah, he's been great.
He's a Yorkie poo. He's half
cute.
poodle, half Yorkie. He's my buddy.
Yeah, he's cute.
Bear is a good-looking guy.
Cute
His
puppy dog.
hair is shorter than it once was.
Yeah, he lost a couple pounds because he had his winter fur on, and he loses quite a bit. So that's what he has going on here. So
Is
anyway.
this Bear's debut on?
Yeah, I think this is.
Any,
Yeah, he's
on-man
he's been
production?
known for other things in podcasts, but this is the first time I think he's ever been on camera like this.
Oh, good. Well, we'll put Bear in the thumbnail. That'll get us an audience
There you go.
rather than necessarily taking the grant writing angle. We'll put Bear
Or
in
Monica's virus.
Monica's virus. Oh, maybe that is what we should do. We'll need you to post some kind of a photo for that to really
Can we edit this
make
out?
it.
No. Those are the important
Hey,
parts.
speaking of Monica,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, we were talking about the director of the Heron Chamber of Commerce,
Right.
and you as that, can talk a little bit about what's coming in the Heron in the
Yeah.
next week. This podcast will be out before the big days of celebration that are happening in Heron. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this year is Heron's 125th year. It's a special year, and we've been celebrating, and we're getting ready for our big incorporation day one celebration. So Thursday, April 17th, is going to be a proclamation reading and reception at the Heron City Hall at noon. And then we're going to go on over to Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and there's going to be a tree planting ceremony with our sister city in Italy. Cuggiano, Italy is the sister city. So that's going to be a big day. And then day 2 is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to meet at the Heron Civic Center in the evening. There's going to be a movie called A History of Heron, the First 100 Years, and a magical season, the 1957 Heron Tigers.
That's the year they won the state championship basketball team.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so the doors open at 5:30. We'll start watching at 6. There's going to be a music band playing called Cat Daddy-O.
Oh, Cat Daddy-O, yes.
And they are going to take the stage at 7:30. So we will be having live music from 7:30 to 10. It should be a great evening.
Following the films.
Following the films, exactly.
Right. So it's next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, April 16th
At noon.
at noon, and that's the celebration at City Hall.
Uh-huh.
And then the 17th, you want to get there what time?
The 17th, you want to get there around 5:30.
And that's the Heron Civic Center.
It starts at 6 p.m.
Right. And you'll learn a lot of Heron history. I've seen at least one of those films before. Lots of cool old history. I brought up to you White City Park the other day. I believe there's some White City Park footage in there. White City Park 100 years ago was the place to go, not just in Heron, but in Southern Illinois. It was the, dare I say, it was the Walker's Bluff of its time, and it was it drew in Frank Sinatra and other national acts, the Glenn Miller Band, these kind of acts
Through the years.
that came in to not 100 years ago, but yeah, more in the 40s. I mean, this was a popular place to go for music and dancing and eating, and then it had an outside element, which was an amusement park and a huge saltwater swimming pool, all very unique to Southern Illinois for that time. And so it was.
What happened to it?
It just over time, things change, things age. It's now it was located where now you'll find partially Northside School and Heron Northside Primary Center, which is a school for youngest children in Unit 4. And then next to it is the Heron Community Pantry. That area there is where White City Park was. It covered a lot of ground. And parts of it lasted into my lifetime, not necessarily as White City Park, but as other things. Parts of the building were still there. But first time I saw a video of White City Park, it's like everything you picture the 20s being, just the roaring 20s and people dancing really fast on the dance floor. Of course, those old movies, they're dancing even faster. But
Half the frames we have now.
I have a 1920s swinger dress.
yeah, well, that's what you see. And then they got the outside stuff where the huge pool just seemed huge. And I don't know how many folks that we've got left that would remember the heyday of White City Park. I'm sure there's still a few that are around, but we're talking about the heyday being the 20s through the 40s in Heron. So just good old times. Of course, we also talked a little bit about the other issues of the day in Heron and Williamson County.
Goodness, yeah.
And so this is all going on at the same time. You had the best of times and the worst of times, I guess, in Heron back then. But that'll be fun to revisit. Heron's rich in history for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I
That's
love
good.
history. So
That's great.
Well, I think we've kind of hit on all we need to hit on today. I just remind you that the Swinford Media Group publishes the Marion Star, the Heron Independent, and Carterville Courier. Those papers you probably still find our latest edition on stands. We come out each Thursday, and you can subscribe to our papers online at swinfordmediagroup.com. You can also find a lot of our past content and stories on there. Follow us on Facebook as well. WFCN is our most popular Facebook page with now 70,000 plus followers.
It's amazing. It's a lot.
And with the latest weather that we've had, they continue just to keep coming and tracking things. A lot of folks track the weather with us, but we also have a lot of other content that goes on there between time that has a huge following. Matter of fact, we had a post recently that I think got shared out into the millions. Not shared into the millions, but viewed into the millions because it was the post of the Christopher home that had the explosion. Did you see this, Tom?
Yes. Yeah. That's been everywhere.
And trapped a firefighter. Thankfully, not did not get badly injured in that. But that thing spread out far and wide and onto national.
I saw it first. My son from the Memphis area sent it to me.
Okay.
He sent it to me. He was a firefighter, so he's like, "Did you see this, Dad?" I'm like, "No," and then I didn't connect the two together.
That
but
we
that's
did
what
not.
it
We were
was.
not there at the time to shoot that, but it was shared first to us by I think the fire department itself.
Yeah.
And that's nice that we are able to have that kind of impact that they would share it to us, and then we were able to spread it far and wide. What's neat about it is you just see all of the others rushing to his defense, to his protection.
So law enforcement. I saw even it looked like some neighbors
Just running
up there to help.
That's what's so great about first responders, and like you say, a lot of good neighbors that just
Here in
did
this
not
area.
hesitate to run to try to make sure he was okay. And I love that. So thanks to those who trust us with that content. Thank you for following us and listening to us. And I think despite the fact that we had no plan for today, we did okay. I think we did.
Oh, Monica, you hit it out of the ballpark. Yeah, I did good.
Thank you, Monica.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Squared Up. For Swinford Media Group, I'm Bill Swinford.
And I'm Monica Daniels.
And I'm Tom Mann.
Bye, everybody.